Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flippin' Ain't Easy, and glad that you guys can make it. Hopefully, quite a few of you can. This was a live stream that I was trying to put together. We have a special guest that we're going to have with us, and the format's going to be a little different in that we are going to kind of have a banter, an eBay banter, various discussions, various eBay topics, and then the last part of the live stream, we're going to go through and answer some of the better questions that you put in on the chat. So if you're watching this live, please be sure to participate with our discussion, anything that you want to mention as to what we're talking about, but also post your questions in the chat. If you're watching this after the fact, too bad you couldn't make it in the live, but please comment down below nonetheless. If you're watching this live and want to support the channel, you can certainly do so with super chats, super stickers. That's always appreciated. But one thing that I do ask from each of you, whether you're watching this live or watching this after the fact, is hit that like button. It really does help the channel. So what I want to do is I want to bring on my guest. It's Jeff from eBay Addicts, and just wanted to introduce you to him, and I will bring him on right now. How you doing, Jeff?
Jeff, hey, what's up, John? Good, good. Thanks for inviting me. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Just doing a lot of fun stuff with eBay. I guess we could talk about that here in a minute. But just real quick, tell us who you are and sort of what your channel is all about.
All right, guys. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jeff. I live in Tampa, and I am an eBay reseller like you guys. Right now, I have right around 7,000 items on my main eBay store, and I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is not huge. I have about 6,000 subscribers, and we kind of bring on different guests every week and get kind of people. We do things live so people can kind of interact and ask questions, and we just go back and forth. We had a guest on the other day on Friday, and he was a banker and he was working his full-time job. He has a wife and his 4 kids. And he was talking about his eBay journey, how he went in the past 2 years from growing and scaling his business from zero to now recently he did 52,000 in sales in eBay in the past 90 days while still working his full-time job, while still spending time with his wife and the kids and the family and finding time to shoot YouTube videos. So that was my guest I had on a couple days ago. His name was Travis. So we do that. I probably drop maybe 3 videos a week, and it's more of a community type of atmosphere. Like I said, most of the time, probably 90% of my videos are live. So that way we can interact with the audience and answer questions, and you can get your questions answered live to our guests. But thank you for having me on today, John. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. And you know, I do enjoy your type of format. You sort of interview your guests. But what I want to do here is I want to just have an eBay discussion with you, since you're a fellow eBay seller. Just talk about various things, and if they want to know more about you, certainly I posted the link to your channel in the comments down below. So after we're done here, go over and give Jeff some support and check out his channel. And he likes to open up eyes to different eBay YouTubers. So if you're looking for new content, of course, don't stop coming back here and watching these videos, but do check out Jeff's channel and support him, because he does a lot of work. He works really hard in getting you guys some content. So
I appreciate it, John.
Hey, no problem. Well, today's been, and in fact, I wasn't even going to talk about this because I didn't even know it was going on until a few hours ago. You guys may have watched my video I put out earlier in the week regarding defects, and that had a story about my other store where eBay had me in a negative balance. Well, it's happened again to me, but on my main store. It turns out, I had decent sales last week, had a lot of UPS labels, a lot of UPS packages. And if you buy your labels through eBay, you don't pay for those labels right away. They don't charge you for those labels right away. What they do is they charge you after the item has been delivered. And it seems like eBay just gets a batch of these requests to pay, and they throw them on your available balance. And if you don't have enough money in your available balance, you'll be put into a negative balance. Now, unfortunately, the last few days, I haven't had a whole lot of sales. It's been pretty slow. and they hit me with like $300 something in charges and put me in a negative. And of course, I had a situation today. The reason why I know this is lady bought a VCR from me, took a best offer. She came back and said, "Hey, I'll pay on this date, no problem." She comes back and says, "Hey, want to cancel?" I said, "No problem, I can cancel for you. If that's what you want to do." And then she says, "Well, I'll go ahead and pay. When can you ship it?" I can ship it out right away. And then, half an hour later, she's like, "I want to cancel." So I go back and cancel it, and I get that error message saying that unable to process refund. Update your payment information. So that happened literally about 15 minutes before going live here. And then also one thing, I don't know if you guys knew, I didn't know, as sales happen, I had a couple sales here in the last hour. I guess what's happening is they try to recoup their eBay fees from your available balance, not from the amount that's processing. So there's money in my account, but it's just processing. And they sent me a nice little friendly nastygram saying that I need to pay my eBay fees. Well, how do you do that? There's no system in place anymore to do that. It's taken out of your money as you go. So it's all a mess right now. So hopefully it resolves itself and I can get some more sales. And so that's kind of what I was talking to Jeff about before we came on. So enough about me. My sales have been slow last couple of days. I had a really good day a few days ago, $700 day. But after that, it's like crickets. And so how are your sales lately, Jeff? How have they been doing?
Things have been kind of slow. I think it's probably because people were on spring break a lot of the times. And then, I think part of it is that gas prices have gone up, and if somebody has to choose between, let's say they're buying a $20 remote or a $20 DVD from you, or putting $20 in their gas tank, they're going to spend the money and put the gas in the gas tank. But around every year, they have something called the eBay Summer Slowdown. It happens every year. We're not quite in the summertime, but every year, probably, May, June, July, especially in the summertime, when people are off and they're taking family vacations and they're out traveling, sales aren't as prevalent as it usually is. And, usually around fourth quarter, things are flying out the door, but then around the summertime, things kind of slow down. But yeah, you just don't get discouraged. You just got to keep listing items. I'm trying to list at least 50 items a day, new items in my store every day. And even if they're only, let's say they're $10, $15, $20 items, well, it adds up. $10 times 50 new listings, you've got $500 worth of new merchandise that's going in your store. So you just got to kind of put your head down and keep listing. There are some things you can do to help kind of move things along. If you have slow sales, you could run a sale in your store. You can do promoted listings. People do a lot of promoted listings. I usually do maybe around 1% promoted listings. You can send offers to watchers. There are some things that you can kind of do to kind of stimulate sales. But one of the biggest things that I notice is just listing items. I'll be in the back room just cranking out listings. And as I'm listing items, it's like triggers the eBay computer algorithm. And all of a sudden you'll hear ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And it's like stuff will start happening as you're being active and listing items. If you just kind of put eBay away in its corner and just be like, oh, sales are slow on eBay, I'm not going to fool with eBay, you forget about eBay. eBay's going to forget about you. So you want to kind of, if you can do something where you can send offers to watchers or post items and just do things to kind of stimulate activity in your store,
Yes, exactly. And, one thing that comes up when you aren't getting sales, you start to feel a little discouraged. So I can tell you it happens even to me, like last few days, it's like, wow, what can I do? I mean, I go out in the garage where I do a lot of my testing. I have my whole station set up, spend a lot of time in there. And I really feel like sometimes it's like eBay's got me on timeout, but I just feel discouraged at times. And I mean, for me, it's about just sucking it up and getting out there and just trying to work harder and getting more stuff listed. That's the goal right now that we're trying to do, is get some more stuff listed. How do you handle, I mean, do you even get discouraged? But if you do, how do you handle that and keep going forward?
Well, to be honest, John, I'm a little bit different than probably 90% of other YouTubers that are resellers, because I also have a job that I work on nights as I work as a courier. So I know I have a guaranteed paycheck coming in every week. But what I do is when I'm posting stuff on eBay is I kind of think about, Think about when you're posting stuff on eBay, almost as if you're depositing a check in your eBay bank account. So let's say I'm posting this item here, and let's say it's a $15 item. Well,
Mhm.
I'll scan the barcode, take picture front and back, post it on eBay, and I think about it as almost as if I'm depositing this check into eBay's bank account, and then
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that check to clear. And as soon as you hear ka-ching, then you know the check finally cleared the bank. So that's just the way I'm a money motivated person. So in my brain, that's the way I kind of stay motivated to list this item. I'm like, hey, this isn't just some CD that I'm listing for $20. This is a $20 check that I'm deposited in my bank account. And if I don't get it listed, this check's not going to get deposited in the account. So some stuff is going to sell quicker than others, but that's like one of the main things that I do. And also, if I have, since I have a YouTube channel, if I'm kind of not motivated to list, I'll just do a listing live. I'll just go live on my YouTube channel, and we'll sit down, and probably 20, 30 of us will just sit down together, and we'll all just crank out listings together. Because I think when you're self-employed and you work kind of alone and by yourself, you can feel kind of isolated and kind of lonely a little bit. But if you
Yes.
have a community of 30 other like-minded people and you guys are all sitting around cranking listings out together, that helps as well. And then if you have someone else in your immediate family, whether it's your wife or a significant other, someone else who does eBay that can kind of be your accountability partner. My little brother, he's a reseller as well, and almost every day we're having a little friendly competition to see who can get to 10,000 active listings, and I'm like around 7,000 and he's at 8,000. So almost every day he'll send me some friendly text message like, hey dude, I'm beating you, I'm leaving you behind. So
Yeah.
those are a couple things that I do. Like I said, number one is having an accountability partner. Number two is just being around other like-minded people. And number three is, like I said, I kind of think about when I'm listing this item, I'm listing this item in my eBay bank account, and I'm just waiting for the check to clear. So,
Right.
that's kind of the way I look at it. Go ahead, John.
Well, no. Good information for sure. Wanted to ask you, what kind of items are you selling? You have quite a few in your store. It sounds to me like you have pretty good items that are somewhat easy to list.
Yeah, most of the items I sell are media items. So I sell stuff like CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, video games, VHS tapes, and probably 90% of the stuff's already new with the shrink wrap. So for me, it doesn't take very long to list. There's a little barcode here. You just scan the barcode, and then a
Right.
lot of times you can do sell similar, and you're just going to take a picture front and back of the item, and then it's listed. And
Yeah.
something like this that I've got like 50 cents into, and I can turn 50 cents into 10, 15, 20, $25, and I got
Yeah.
50 cents tied up in the item. So I sell a lot of media items, and it doesn't take very long to get them listed. It's pretty quick. Take a picture front and back. It's posted, it's uploaded, and you could crank out some listings to get your goal pretty quickly.
Yeah. So you have one of these, right?
I use my cell phone. There's a scanner on my cell phone on the eBay app. Yeah,
Okay.
when you go on your eBay app, there's a little scanner there. It's a little camera thing, and
Right.
it'll read the barcode for you. I can show you real quick on the eBay app when
So
I'm
you list
listing
on
the
the
item.
app, you list on the app almost exclusively then.
Yeah, so when you use it, there's a little spot right here, and it'll show you where you can scan a barcode, and then
Right.
all I do is just hold it up like this, and then I'll scan the little barcode, and as soon as I scan it, it'll pull it right up. So I
Okay.
don't have to wait a long time, and I list on my phone. But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I mean, there's we list different type of merchandise, but the system is still the same. I mean, you get new inventory in, you list it, post it, ship it. It's pretty similar. So
Yeah, and I try to get ideas. I mean, it's what you do and what I do are different things. So I can only get so much from what you do because you have a different system. You have much easier items to list, but you list with smaller margins. You sell more items. What I like to do is I like to do research. So while I'm actually listing and looking to sell similar, I will come across stores that have a similar item, and I'll see that they have a lot of feedback, and I'll stop and I'll go in and look, and I'll see what they're doing. Are they putting a lot of effort in the listings? Are they just churning? Are they getting a lot of just listings up? I came across one electronic sales store on eBay. We had over 4,000 listings, and over the last 90 days, 11,000 sales. That's amazing to me. To have usually a good store will get you about 1-to-1. So if you have 1,000 items in your store, last 90 days, 1,000 items sold is a really good ratio. But to have almost 3 to 4 times sales than what you have listed is outstanding. So And look at the items, and it's all about this guy has a lot of quality items in the store, and that's what it's all about. That's my biggest challenge. Once I can get past the whole sourcing issue of just finding the right place to source good quality stuff, that's half the battle for me. I'll take off, and I'm doing okay with what I have, but I know I can do so much better, and that's the frustrating thing for me. But yeah, that's good information that you're giving for sure. So wanted to talk about, we talked about the slower sales. One thing I want to do real quick is I want to shout out some people in the chat, and then we'll kind of continue here.
Go ahead.
We have Ant White in the chat. We have No One Design 2, Marsha Clark. We have Chucky. We have LSGS Rob, Christina, the Tommy Bernard podcast. So your comments, and we'll be looking at those here in a bit. Please do me a favor and put your questions in the chat. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we have about 32 people watching right now. And I'd say in about 15, 20 minutes, we'll start going to your questions if you guys have any. One thing that came up I thought was kind of funny that I came across. If you've ever been to McDonald's in the last couple of days, they have this Szechuan sauce, these packets. And I guess they're like a limited edition thing. I was so tempted just to go and get some McDonald's yesterday and just have them throw me some in the bag. People are selling these for $6 for $25.
Really?
Yeah, there's a listing, 30 of them for $60, and a bunch of listings today. And it's just amazing to me that people go to these fast food places. I guess it's a limited sauce that McDonald's has out, and they're just listing them. People are buying them on eBay, and it's just amazing to me. You can go to eBay, get some chicken nuggets with some sauce, and just sell the sauce and cover your lunch.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that at Taco Bell, where they get those little packets of sauce at Taco Bell and do the same thing, where they'll turn around and resell them on eBay. So, it's eBay. You can sell all type of stuff on there. So, I mean, I guess that stuff can happen. But I haven't been to McDonald's lately, to be honest with you. But I have heard of people, selling packets of little packets of sauce like that, and they go home and then post them on eBay for sale.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty amazing that it just shows you can sell pretty much anything as long as there's a demand for it, right?
Yeah.
So how about you? You have anything that you wanna throw around? Any topics you want to discuss?
Yeah, I just mainly wanted to talk about how people have been dealing with slow sales on eBay to kind of stay motivated and working on eBay stuff. And also is that I saw somebody in the comments section earlier, they were complaining that they posted an item on eBay and eBay had removed their listing. So I had something similar happen to me recently as well, where I posted an item and then eBay said it was like some kind of IP complaint or copyright complaint, and they pulled my listing down. So instead of going back and forth, I tried to call eBay to get them to put my listing back up. So, but instead of fighting back and forth on eBay, just, I would recommend switching to another platform like Macari or something, where that one item that you have that maybe there's an IP complaint about it, you can just post it on another platform and it'll still sell. I've had that happen to me before in the past.
Right. And Ant White actually had this situation with some Apple AirPods. I had the same thing happen last year with Apple AirPods. These were new in the box, shrink wrapped, everything. I've sold dozens of these in the past, and these are not knockoffs. These were not knockoffs in any way. I had the serial number and everything on the list, and they pulled it down. I contacted eBay. They told me, actually, a supervisor told me that they've determined it was a counterfeit pair of AirPods. And I asked them, well, what makes you say it's counterfeit? And they wouldn't tell me. They refused to say. So I think what may have happened is someone may have reported the listing as counterfeit. Sometimes people do it because they're trying to reduce competition. eBay takes the word for it. They remove the listing and they tell you not to list it. I know that Ant White said that they had told them to go in and just relist at their own risk, but they told me don't list it again. And so I did what you said. I listed it on Mercari, but when you sell things on Mercari, you do so at a much lower price than you would at eBay. It's just,
Well,
that's why.
it's
Go
just
ahead.
not worth your account getting restricted or suspended over one or two items. So that's just the way I look at it. If you have one or two items, you wanted to sell them for whatever reason, eBay pulled the listing down, just post it on another platform. Because back, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago, you didn't have that option to be like, oh, I'm going to post this on Poshmark, or I'm going to post this on Macari. So I would
Yeah.
just try posting on another platform. Because like I said, it's not worth them coming to you and say, okay, you're suspended off eBay for a week or a month, all because you wanted to try to fight them over one item. But yeah, I had a similar thing happened to me. Somebody said that my item was copywritten, or they said it was counterfeit. I'm like, bro, it's brand new in the shrink wrap. Like, I don't do, like, I got a picture front and back. What do you want me to do? You know? So they
Yeah.
wanted me to take my listing down, and I just said, instead of trying to fight with them all day, I just posted that one item on Macari so I can still sell it. And that way I don't have to worry about risking my whole eBay store, my whole eBay account, just over that one item. So that's what I would say to do if you're in that situation.
Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, like you said, it's not the extra 20 or 30 bucks you'd get off of eBay is not worth the risk of running into a suspension or some kind of a issue. You know, when eBay sends you that message, it's almost like a cease and desist. Don't go against it. You know, it's just not worth it. Because there's too many people at eBay that don't really take a look at what's going on, and they get into this rubber stamping mode, and it's frustrating at times. You have a legitimate issue, and they just treat it like, you know, anything else, and they dismiss it. And I have a similar situation that I was going to make I am going to make a video on, but essentially, I'll tell you what happened in a nutshell. Had a guy who was asking to buy an item, lowball me on an item. And I was like, no, I can't go that low. I can do this. And we kind of went back and forth. The guy, I was driving from California to Vegas. So it was like a 6-hour trip with traffic. The guy was just sending me message after message after message. My wife, that evening we got home, was looking at the feedback this guy had left for others, and it was just a ton of negative feedbacks. And it's like, why am I going to give this guy a super deal? And, you know, this guy just is just a problem waiting to happen. So I said, look, I'm not going to sell this to you. And, you know, I ended up blocking him, and he tried to buy it anyway and asked what his problem was, what my problem was. And I kind of just had to explain again, and he went away. At least I thought. That item sold, and his neighbor bought it on his behalf, and he used his neighbor to leave me negative feedback. And so that I'm going to make a video about and kind of go into detail. But it's just these people. I tried to get the negative feedback removed, of course, and explained and outlined everything for eBay. It's all well documented. And they came back today and said they weren't going to remove the feedback. So,
well, John, there's some things that you could try to do. You could get eBay to remove the negative feedback. You can send back a feedback revision. And then the last thing you can do is, like, after 12 months, the negative feedback falls off your account anyways. It only goes back to 12 months. And after the end of the 12 months, it'll fall off. So it's not the end of the world. I mean, everybody's going to get negative feedback from time to time. But just think about it. Just be glad that you're selling stuff on eBay instead of having a brick and mortar store. Think about if you had this customer and he was right up in your face screaming and yelling and spitting on you and cussing you out and all this stuff. So just be glad that you don't have to deal with these people face to face. You can do it on eBay. And if one person leaves you a negative feedback, it's not going to be the end of the world, you know?
Yeah, but that's just it. Most people that want to act that way and just get nasty, and I'm going to show you in the video I make here in the next couple of days, but this guy taunting me. As soon as the negative feedback was left from the other account, he used his account to taunt me about it. And it was just, I'm willing to bet you customers, they won't go into a brick and mortar and act, at least half of them won't act half the fool that they act when they're behind their keyboard. And there's nothing to lose. They're going to send a message. You're across the other side of the world, and you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And you think really,
you can respond to the negative feedback. I had somebody leave me a negative feedback. I just responded and said, hey, you know, the item was shipped new in the shrink wrap. I offered 60-day free returns to the customers for any reason. That's all I can do. So if someone scrolls down and they see the negative feedback, they was like, hey, the guy sent the guy a brand new item. It was new in the shrink wrap. He offered the guy a 60-day free return. What more do you want? What else can you offer the customer, you know? So some people, they're just going to be mean and nasty, and you're just going to have to deal with it and move on. You know, it's like, it's one customer. eBay has what, 300 million people on the platform or something. So you run across a couple of bad apples, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, John. It's going to be all right.
No, it's not. And sometimes I make it seem like it's the end of the world for me, and it's not. I realize that negative feedback isn't what it used to be. It's not as important as it used to be. I do think that there is a small hit that you take within the algorithm shortly thereafter. And of course, I asked this question to eBay execs back at the other seller check-in a couple weeks ago, and they said it was a good question. They read the question, they started to answer the question, and then the person about to answer the question, I guess, was bumped or received a little text or something from the person that said, don't touch it with a 10-foot pole. So I really firmly believe there is something within the algorithm that if you're left a negative feedback, that it does tend to hurt you in a little way, maybe not as much as it used to. But of course, you can reply to the negative feedback. They give you 500 characters to do so. I utilize every bit of that to explain what happened here. Because for me, it's more important that my potential next buyer who's careful, wants to make sure they're not dealing with the scammer, not dealing with one of these sellers who maybe don't care and are just going to act like it's not a big deal, maybe wait 2 or 3 days to ship the item. They're looking at the feedback and they come across the negative feedback and they're going to be like, whoa, I don't want to deal with this guy. He's got a lot of problems here. So I put that rebuttal in the feedback so that they can understand what's happening here. But I don't want it there anyway. I want it removed. So, I do a lot of contacting eBay, and I do so because I feel like it's good content. eBay and customers are really good content creators sometimes. They'll give you reasons to make a video and to like this buyer. Stay tuned. There's going to be a video in the next couple of days. I let this person know he's going to be part of a block party, and that ID, both user IDs are going to be known. It's not public information. Actually, it's not private information. It's public information. I'm not going to release any names or addresses, but I am going to let everyone know that not to do business with this kind of person because they are out to make your life miserable as a seller if things don't go their way. And that's just not within the spirit of eBay as far as I'm concerned. We're all adults here. We're not in high school. And I don't want to deal with an adult with a high school mentality that if things don't go their way, they're going to try to take it out on you a month later when all's said and done, try to make you feel some kind of way because you didn't want to do business with them. Come on, people, grow up. And that's the problem that I have with some of these buyers. They're few and far between. There's not a whole lot of them out there, but when you come across them, they're just a pain. And of course, I can just say, you know what, write it off, go on to the next one, like many of you guys do. But I kind of feel an obligation on this channel to put out that information. So not only are you aware of it, maybe you're a newer seller, you have the option to avoid, this guy had like 300, I think they had like 300 purchases, 300 feedback at least. And, they're doing business on eBay. Do you really want to do business with someone who's trigger happy on the negative feedback, who's going to maybe send you a couple nasty messages? I don't want to deal with that kind of a person. And I'm looking out for my channel, people who watch my channel, and give them the opportunity to choose to do business with such a person. I wish there was a forum place to post, hey, here's a buyer I came across, update your block buyer list. There's millions of eBay buyers out there, and the very few I just want off out of my hair. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
I'm with you, John. But like I said, sometimes you just gotta, like, the more time you dwell on this one negative feedback, you could be cranking out, getting more listings done. So sometimes you just got to let it go and move on. You said you wanted to get to some questions in the chat here. Is there any questions or comments in the chat? I can't see the chat on my end.
I know that's a bad thing about StreamYard. When we run live streams, you can't really see it on here. One last thing on that. I agree with you 100% that time spent, dealing with eBay, dealing with these bad buyers can be spent doing some eBay stuff. Again, if I didn't have an eBay channel, I wouldn't spend half the time that I spend because I just know one bad apple you can't allow it to spoil the whole bunch. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. So as far as Questions here. Well, let's go to some comments here. No One Design 2 says, hey, John and FAE fans. Marsha Clark says, hi, everyone. How you doing, Marsha? Chucky was talking about slow sales. Don't people have their tax returns? And I know that there's a delay in processing tax returns, but I know that my son, we did his taxes. He got his taxes within like 2 weeks. And so I'm pretty confident that that's really not the issue. I think we're dealing with a bad economy, high gas prices, and as a result, high gas prices is going to make everything go up in price. I think people are starting to get into that mode where maybe I shouldn't buy this now. Maybe I should kind of wait and see what these gas prices do. They're talking about what an extra $4,000 a year is projected of what a standard family is going to have to pay over and above what they normally have to pay. And that may be a conservative estimate, maybe not, but that's concerning. If you're living on a fixed income or you're paycheck to paycheck, it's going to stop you from buying a few extra items that maybe you would be normally buying without any thought to it. So I think that's a lot to do with it. LSGS Rob says it's easy to pay. There's a button to pay if you're negative, and eBay is always taking money from active, not processing. So I'll look at that. I have no problem. I've got money in my checking account, but it's a logistics problem, and I'm not willing to have eBay step in to run a refund on my behalf for this buyer and give me a defect that I have to go and beg to get rid of, like I'm still dealing with on that other account. So definitely I'll look into that and see if that's even possible. But from what I saw before on that other account, I couldn't find it. Christina says it's tax time, and it is tax time. Hopefully you guys are getting sales that are a little bit better than mine. Again, there's many reasons for slow sales, and I'm 100% convinced that once I do better on my sourcing end, then my sales will improve quite a bit. No One Design 2 says, hey, eBay Addict, do you deal with general merchandise or do you focus on specific categories? If general merchandise, what listing count do you target? 5,000, 10,000, or 20,000 listings?
Well, right now, if you look on eBay, if you have the basic eBay store, the one that's like $21 a month, they give you like 1,000 listings that's in that category. But if you go and you look, if you looked ever since they switched over from PayPal to managed payments, if you look now and you have the basic store, they'll give you 10,000 free listings that are in that select category. So I don't have it right in front of me, but if you look at the items that are in that select category, it's like sports cards, hobby stuff. But a lot of the items that I sell, like CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, VHS tapes, video games, audiobooks, fall in this select category. So basically what happens is at the end of the 30 days, if your item doesn't sell, eBay will auto relist that item and you pay 0 insertion fees for that particular item. And so right now my goal is just to try to grow and scale my store to 10,000 items. And then I'll go from there. Maybe I'm either going to scale the main store and increase that one, or I'm kind of thinking about opening up a second eBay store and maybe sell shoes and clothing and things like that. But it's just like when you're dealing with shoes and clothing, it's kind of like when someone buys a pair of shoes, they can't try it on eBay to make sure it fits before they get it. And I'm kind of worried about dealing with returns and getting messages from people saying, hey, these are the measurements that I need and all that. If I sell you an item like this that's new in the shrink wrap, there's no measurements. You got it, you put it inside your CD player and it plays the CD. So I don't get a lot of defects and I don't get a lot of returns. But yeah, that's kind of the area that I'm sticking to right now is media items. And like I said, there's a reason for that, because if the item doesn't sell, I don't get hit with all those insertion fees at the end of the month on my bill. The only bill I pay is my $20, $21 a month for my eBay fee subscription. And then eBay takes their cut out of when I sell the item, for the eBay fees.
Exactly. We have LSGS Rob says sales have been great in the clothing category. This is the time of the year, historically, March and September historically, and I did some homework on this like the last couple of years to determine that it is historically the best time of year to sell clothing. So that's probably a good reason why you're seeing that. They also say that Rob also says that sales will always ebb on flow. It's all about the average. 3, 6, 9 month average. You can't compare day to day or week to week. And you're right. eBay has this way of comparing this month that I'm in with last month. Now, it would be probably better served to compare this month, this year, maybe against last year at this time, the same 30-day period, because you have trends like we're talking about clothing. March is generally a great time of year March and April, generally a great time of year to sell clothing. And to compare it to February, it doesn't seem right to me. So, I agree with you on that. It's always a good ebb and flow, and you can't really compare like what I did. I had a $700 sales day a few days ago, and it's been kind of junky ever since. You can't really compare the two. And what you can look at is your traffic reports. But then I saw the same traffic. I had a great sales day with the same traffic that I had a couple bad sales days. So it is what it is. eBay can show your item to your buyers, but they won't force them to buy it. And no matter what they do, that's where you come in and have a good listing, good price, good item. And if you have a quality item, you're going to be more apt to sell it than something that's not as good. We have Chucky. eBay should never be full-time. Sales are not persistent like that to pay the bills for the month. I don't agree with that. If you put in the work, you can make this a full-time thing. It's if you sell $100,000+ a year, it's not that hard to do. We're talking about $8,000 a month, and that's in sales. And you run a good margin. If you're running about a 50% margin, you can make it work. It just depends on what you're sourcing. If you just go out and buy any pallet or just go buy any item, and you don't have a plan, I think a lot of it is you have to have a plan. Then you're gonna struggle. I mean, you make it work for you, right?
Yeah, but like I said, I have a regular job that I work, and I get a paycheck every week on Friday. So I still get my paycheck from my regular job that I paid my bills with, and I don't really need any money. To be honest, I really don't need money from ad revenue from YouTube or money from sales on eBay to pay my bills. And
Yeah.
I have very low cost of living where I live at. So I don't have, wife and kids. I don't have a ton of expenses. Like I pay my car insurance, my cell phone bill, the rent, utilities, and the rest is just money for gas and groceries. So I can probably pay all my bills with maybe $1,000, $1,200 a month, of expenses, and the rest of it, is money I don't have to pay my bills. But yeah, I take a lot of my capital that I make in eBay sales and reinvest it to buy more inventory. Just the other day, I made a YouTube video. I bought this guy had a closeout lot. I think he had 130 DVDs that were new in the shrink wrap, and I bought it on eBay from him. And I think I paid $80, including shipping and tax and all that. So my buy cost breaks down to like 61 cents a piece. And the way I look at it, I'm like, okay, I got 130 items here. I know there were horror movies. If I could sell each one of them for a bare minimum of $10 a piece times 130, I've turned my $80 investment into $1,300. Right. And even if you subtract your cost of goods and your eBay fees, you're still walking out of there with $1,000 in profit. So exactly. I take a lot of my money and trying to reinvest it to try to scale my business. I look at some of these other big YouTubers and other big resellers, people like Urban Picker or people like Tech and Sports. I went on his eBay page the other day. He has like 46,000 items in his eBay store, but every single day he's averaging about 300 sales a day. So you have to think, if he made $10 profit times 300 sales a day, that's $3,000 a day that he's making in profit. So it just takes, but I mean, he didn't do it overnight. It takes time to grow and scale your business. So eventually, like I said, I would like to grow and scale my business to be a larger eBay store. But then you have to kind of look at like, where are you going to store your items? Are you going to have employees, or all these other variable expenses that you have?
Right. And so it's a numbers game. It's a math game. So if you're not in the place, and I'm not in the place to go and hire employees, I mean, just not, the thought came across my mind maybe a couple of years ago, but I'm going to let the dust settle a little bit with, I mean, rent is crazy. If you want to go out and rent, a warehouse or something like that, it's more than it used to be. So I'm going to let the dust settle before I even consider doing something like that. I have room for growth within what I can do. My wife's helping me with it. I realize that. So I'm going to max out what I can do before I look into other things like some of those sellers that you mentioned. For me, it's simple math. If I'm operating at 500 items in my store and I don't like where I'm at, I can try to double that, of course, considering maybe getting better merchandise or at least the same. And even when something's slow, I will be, if I sell maybe 2 or 3 items a day on a 500 item store, I'm selling maybe 6 or 7 if I have 1,000. And so just a numbers and math game. And you have to look at it like that. So many people start this game wanting success right out the chute. And they tend to want to quit or say it's not working or it's not sustainable when, after maybe only a few months of trying it out. But you have to pay your dues, per se. You have to grow your account. And once you get past the growing pains, you're going to see some success. And you know what? When you start out, your sourcing is not going to be great. I'm sure that your sourcing has improved tremendously over the past few years. The opportunities you found to buy, all the DVDs and CDs that you buy, you found better opportunities, better prices. You've learned what works for you and what doesn't. And these are things that a lot of people just don't have within the first year of reselling.
Yeah, well, that's true. You're going to make connections, but also a big thing is you have to reinvest capital. You have to spend money to make money in this business, and that's kind of the thing that people kind of trip over. Yesterday I was talking with Travis, and he has less than 1,000 items in his eBay store, and he did $52,000 in sales in 90 days. But he said he was spending over $4,000 a month in buying inventory. So if you factor that in, he's spending over $1,000 a week in inventory. So that's one of the big key things is having to reinvest capital back in your inventory. I see a lot of new eBay sellers, and they get excited when they make $500 or $1,000, and then they go out and buy, a new watch or a pair of shoes or spend that money on going on a family vacation. And instead of taking that capital and reinvesting it back in their business to buy more inventory, because that's how you're going to get, like you said, you're going to get better at finding better inventory and making connections and all that, but also having the capital to reinvest in your business. That's going to be the biggest game changer. If you say, okay, we had, $5,000 of potential profit this month, and you take 2,000 out to go on a vacation, well, you could have took that capital and reinvested it back in your business,
That's right. And, people live for the now and not for the later. They don't want to invest in their future. They see the money coming in now, and it tends to ruin your success. So that's definitely a good piece of advice that, especially within the first year, focus on not only sustaining, buying the same amount of items that you bought before, buy more. I like to have a surplus, and I buy pallets, as you guys know, but I like to have at least a pallet in queue so that I'm buying more stuff and I just rotate the stuff that I have to list. And have that mentality. You never find yourself in a lull where you run out of things to list because A, you don't have the money to buy it, or B, you just haven't sourced. And that's where you also run into problems as well. LSDS Rob says, my sales are consistent. Last 3 months have been very consistent and sold more each month. Consistent listing and listing good items, easy to pay the bills. Certainly. Awesome. We have Tommy, the Tommy Bernhard podcast. I've been full-time over 4 years, support a large family and great lifestyle, 100% on reselling. You're doing something terribly wrong. So Chucky, we don't know half of what you're dealing with. It could be that you're relatively new. Could be that you're dealing with some sourcing issues. I'm telling you right now, that's what's holding me back. That's what's definitely holding me back. I'm not doing badly, but I know I have a lot of room to do better. I know $200,000 a year in sales, gross sales on eBay is certainly not out of my reach. I just need to do better in sourcing. Like last year at this time, I had like a $18,000 sales month in the month of March, and I look back and see what I was selling. A lot better than what I was doing now. So I need to find a way to get that connection. And that's probably the most valuable thing you're going to learn in this business is not the listing, not the shipping. Of course, you'll get that as you go, but finding that not one, but multiple places to source good quality items for eBay, that's the challenge. And I think once you get past that hurdle, the sky's the limit as far as I'm concerned. So guys like Tommy and LSGS Rob, they're making it work and proving that it definitely can be done. Let's see. We have the Monster Loon in the house. Hello, how are you doing? Not sure if it's vintage is in the house. No One Design 2 says, not a lot of people realize eBay is a numbers game for the most part, not talking about specific niche sellers. If you know how to play the numbers game and have the patience and be consistent, it pays off. And that's definitely the key. So we bring these topics up. You know, I'm doing fairly well, even though I've had a few slow sales days. Jeff's doing fairly well because I know that there's people out there that are struggling. And, you know, this kind of advice and maybe just the confirmation from others that are leaving this information in the chat is enough to maybe make you keep going and not quit. Don't give up. It's definitely, you got to find a way to play the numbers game. And, you know, that's how it works. The Monster Loon says, the Rick and Morty fans are obsessed with that McDonald's sauce. Well, it's popular. I'm to pay, you know, what? You get 6 packets for $25, like $4 a dipping sauce. That seems pretty excessive to me. Vintage Philly PA is in the house. Hello, gents in chat. How are you doing? Tommy Bernard podcast is promoted listings negates the race to the bottom, promote to the top instead. And I've been doing that myself on items that are about to recycle, that 30-day recycle that eBay does. I'll go in before it happens. So anything that comes up in red within the 24-hour period that are about to recycle, I go in and instead of 1%, I'll up it to the suggested, and that is something I'm doing. What do you do? Do you do anything differently when you find an item is about to recycle to the next 30-day period? Do you do anything differently?
No, I just do 1% promoted listings on most all my items in my store. Tommy does more. I works for him, but for me, I feel like at a certain point, I feel like I'm giving eBay, more money. It's like I'm already paying 13, 14% in eBay fees already. So I feel like the item's going to sell. It's going to sell, and if someone's looking for that particular item, my item's going to pop up in the list. So, and like I said, it just depends on what you guys want to do. People have this pay to play model where they want to spend more on promoted listings to show up higher in the search engine and maybe generate more sales, but then you're paying more of a fee to eBay in that sense as well. So it just kind of depends on what you guys want to, what route you want to take. I know, Don, I know you mentioned earlier that you wanted to touch on people using their eBay shipping coupon code for the shipping label. Today's the 1st of April.
I did that already. Did you?
Yeah, I had it added to cart, and I didn't go ahead and purchase it yet because I was posting items. I have a whole stack of inventory here that I was listing right before we went live. So I got it added to cart. Usually, I get the 6x9 padded envelope, so that's what I use the most.
Okay, I usually get the eBay branded tape. We ran out of the eBay branded tape about 4 days ago, and I said, okay, we gotta wait. We gotta wait till we get our coupon. And they had $25 each. I ordered some eBay branded boxes as well. If you have a store, it's definitely a benefit from having a store. Don't leave that coupon on the table because, like, I picked up a 36 pack of eBay tape. Was about $12, $13 after fees, taxes and all that. After I applied the coupon for 36 rolls of tape. Now it's not the best tape in the world, but it definitely does a good job. It does what I need it to do. And definitely if you are new, maybe you're new to a store, maybe you haven't utilized your quarterly coupons, today is the 1st of the month. Things tend to fall, they are sold off the shelf, for the lack of a better term. They run out of inventory on certain things. So you want to get in there and use your coupon before others do. And that's definitely, thank you for reminding me of that, because it's certainly something you should be doing. And that's not an April Fool's. That's certainly, if you're new to this, it's definitely a thing. You get a 25, if you have the basic store, you get a $25 coupon.
Yep.
The Monster Loon says, I've heard of a person trading their car for one packet of that sauce when they did a limited release. That's just ridiculous.
Crazy.
But I wonder how many people actually are going right now to get some McNuggets and maybe don't care for that sauce, but are asking for it so they can list it on eBay. Let's see. Chucky says, have a watcher on an item that the seller keeps lowering the price in desperation to sell. Now, is that on your item? Maybe you want to clarify that down below. Here's not sure if it's vintage. Do some people are lost with no title or wrong title, or list with no title or wrong title? I would say that many people list with incorrect titles. You got to make sure if you're selling similar, is usually where that happens, that you're correcting if because you're relying on what that last seller put in. It could have bad information in the title. You want to make sure that that's correct. No One Design 2 says, I'm not saying that people do not play the race game, I guess race to the bottom. I'm just saying you have a choice to play or not. And that's a big thing on Amazon, but it just depends on what you're into the item for. If you have room to play with, if you're into that item for, let's say, 20% of what you can sell it for, you're going to have a lot more room to negotiate and maybe make a profit off that item than your competitor is paying, say, 50%. Ant White says, I'm slowly moving items over to Mercari, but their shipping options are limited to compared to eBay. And they are. There's a lot of things left to be desired about Mercari. Of course, I've been moving items over there as well, but it's certainly not, you're not going to get the level of traffic, for one, that eBay gives you. So LSGS Rob says, never have to race the bottom when you have great descriptions and great items. And I agree with that. That's the key thing. Great listings, great photos are excellent to have. If you have a bad photo, it looks like you just ran past the item and snapped a photo. It's definitely not going to be enticing for someone to click on your item. eBay can show your item in search results all you want, but if you have a bad listing, a bad title, a bad photo, it's not going to be as effective as far as I'm concerned. Tommy says eBay will suspend them indefinitely, and talking about the seller that or the buyer that is playing games with me. eBay will suspend them indefinitely for getting around the block policy. I've had this done twice. I don't know who you spoke with, but they take that seriously. When you're dealing with the frontline people, especially one of the reps, say in Philippines, they're rubber stamping all day long. They don't seem to care. I'm willing to bet you're right if I get someone in the United States or maybe even Ireland or the Columbia office. I'm willing to bet you're going to get someone that's going to take it a little bit more seriously. And then not sure if it's vintage says this is a reason not to block buyers. It can just piss off the buyer more. And, if you get someone that's like that, they're going to find a way to buy your item and ship it to you like they did with me. Thomas says, if you respond, you admit fault, and eBay will 100% not touch it after that. Never reply to feedback unless every option is exhausted. Well, I've never seen that anywhere. I mean, I don't know where that, maybe that's happened to you in the past where you haven't left feedback and they were more willing, or the reply to the feedback and they were more willing to do something for you. But that's the first thing they say. Go ahead and fill out this form online, and someone from our team will respond in 8 hours. But in the meantime, go ahead and reply to that feedback so that your potential next buyer isn't put off by it.
Hey, John, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I know you wanted to try to keep the podcast about an hour long, and we didn't talk on one of these topics yet about the shipping increase coming on April 3rd, you said? So do you want to talk about that?
I have it right here.
I had it pulled up on my phone earlier. I was reading it before we went live.
Yeah, USPS intends to delay implementation of new non-standard fees for parcels until 2022. This came out in December, but that's happening on the 3rd now, 3rd of April. And if you have, and this is USPS, if you have missing or incorrect dimensions, the USPS proposes a new $1.50 fee on Priority Mail Express, and Parcel Select services. or with, let's see, or greater than 1 cubic foot, or with a length greater than 22 inches, the shipper did not provide dimensions of the dimensions or incorrect in the listing manifest file. Non-standard fees, USPS proposes, and they are going, this is an older article, but fees that will apply to Priority Mail Express, and Parcel Select first class packages when you have a package that's over 22 inches, $4 fee, package over 30 inches, $15 fee, and a package over 2 cubic feet, $15 fee. And so that's what is going to go into effect the 3rd of April. Is that what you got?
Yep, I had it pulled up here on my phone a minute ago. If you guys can Google it, but also John has a link down below if you guys want to check it out. I don't want to give you guys false information, but you can just type in post office raising rate on April 3rd, and you'll see it pop up on here. So this is the article that I have right here on my phone. It says the post office shipping rates to increase in April 3rd, and it says you'll start paying surcharges on your packages if they are a certain size and you fail to give the accurate dimensions. And then it starts talking about the different fees on here. So, but yeah, I feel like that's the thing. That's one of the reasons why I don't do free shipping on my items on eBay, because it's like every 6 months the post office keeps raising their prices. So it's one of those things where it's like every time you turn around, they're trying to, tack on extra fees and raise the price of the post office. It seems like it happens every 6 months, every year. Seems that way, right?
Right. And it is what it is. It kind of tells me that they're really not interested in handling these larger packages. And it just, for me, it's pushing that business over to UPS. I mean, really, if you have a package that's going to be larger than 22 inches, it's probably going to be better off shipped by UPS Ground anyway. I find that any package that's over 2 pounds is generally going to give you a better rate. I mean, unless you're shipping it across town, it's going to give you a better rate from UPS Ground. I don't deal with FedEx. I'm sure FedEx has decent rates as well, but I certainly would recommend, if you deal with larger packages and you're not shipping UPS Ground, you're losing money as far as I'm concerned. But thank you again for reminding me of that, because it's definitely a good reminder. That's happening in 2 days. So come Sunday, it's going to be, those larger packages are going to have surcharges.
Yeah.
So just a comment here I thought was kind of funny. Just think if every seller made a video about negative feedback. And if you guys think that I'd leave make a video for every negative feedback, you're missing the point. The whole idea of my channel is to share my experiences with you guys, be transparent, and tell you how I did it. So maybe this isn't the channel for you. I'll just be real about it. I appreciate 100% of my viewers. I do. And, I try to make content that's going to be watchable for many, but I can't make everyone happy. So hopefully you don't feel that way. But in my case, I just want to, and I think that's what maybe makes my channel a little bit different. You don't have a lot of people that share that information, but this is who I am, and thankfully you're watching this video and participating in the live stream. So that I'm thankful for. Not sure if vintage, the customer's always right. That's my motto. I came up with that motto. Look it up. So you're the one that came up with that model. Because for many years, even as a rep on the phone, there's people that would say that all the time. And it's like, but you're very wrong in this case. So Aunt White says, I have a small store. I have trouble finding items to resell. Pallets cost a lot. I mostly do Facebook Marketplace. And there's lots of places to get inventory. Just find what works for you, and do that more often.
There's literally merchandise everywhere. The whole trick is just getting it for the right price where you can make a profit. But literally, if you go, you go look around at yard sales, thrift stores, estate sales, pawn shops. I mean, people do retail arbitrage, getting stuff at Walmart clearance. I mean, there's people that get pallets of merchandise. You can get wholesale lots of merchandise. There's stuff there's auctions. There's merchandise literally everywhere. You just got to look. Literally, I mean, I've been doing some online arbitrage where you don't even have to leave your house. You just press a couple clicks of the mouse and the merchandise shows up at your front door. So you're just going to have to be on the lookout. Like there's literally merchandise everywhere.
Right. And, you know, I have a friend friend of the channel, Biscuit Butt, and he many times has gone to OfferUp or something like that and found people pretty much giving stuff away that he can go on and buy, maybe talk him down if he needs to in price. And he's talking, I can turn this $50 purchase of this lot of like laser discs, and I can make $15-20 a piece, and he comes home with a lot of them, and the buy cost is like 25 cents a piece. So, you know, there's opportunities out there. You just got to look. You just got to look. And of course, I'm talking to you and I'm talking to myself at the same time, because, you know, I can do better. And that's my thing. I would be lying to you guys if I said everything's great, I'm loving it, you know, I can't get any better. That wouldn't be true, at least in my case. Maybe you got it where you've got a perfect opportunity to source as much as you want at a great price. You're already ahead of the game if you're doing that. D Rizzo says, bit of advice for everyone: just have a 30-day return policy with free shipping, and buyers can't leave you negative feedback. The option is grayed out. Save yourselves the headache. It just depends on your business model. If you're selling like DVDs and things like Jeff's selling, certainly that's more of an option than if you're someone that sells items that are 3-4 even larger pounds. It really just depends on what you're selling. So,
well, and the thing is, I offer 60-day free returns and free shipping, free returns for 60 days, and I still got negative feedback. So, I mean, if you're a store and you're shipping out hundreds of thousands of items, it's just going to happen. You're just going to have somebody that has an attitude and wants to leave you a negative feedback. And like I said, it's not the end of the world. You can try to do a feedback revision. You could try to get eBay to pull your negative feedback down. Or if you just wait, after 12 months, it's going to fall off anyways. It's not going to be make or break deal where it's going to be the end of the world. Just focus on getting more merchandise and getting the stuff listed and making more sales. That one negative feedback you spent, you know, a half hour worried about it, you could have been cranking out another 40, 50 listings and getting that stuff listed and making money.
You're right. And again, if I didn't have an eBay channel, I probably would just move on. But it's about the process.
Yeah. See, Tommy was just saying the same thing I was saying, that even if you offer free returns, they can still leave you negative feedback.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see here. Ed's getting in late. He got in a few minutes ago. So how you doing, Ed, the reselling writer? Let's see. I don't see a whole lot of questions. I know we're kind of winding down here. Any topics that we didn't cover that you want to talk about?
Not really off the top of my head that I could think of. I just, you know, I just want us to, you know, just get the stuff listed. You know, it's like I see a lot of other YouTubers that are pulling, you know, April Fool's jokes and all this stuff. I'm like, bro, let's just work and make money. You know, it's like, that's not my personality. But hey, I appreciate you inviting me on, John. If you guys aren't subscribed, go subscribe to John's channel, Flippin' Ain't Easy, that we're on right now. And if you guys want to come check out my YouTube channel, I usually drop 3 videos a week. And usually we have different guests on, and we kind of pick their brains and try to figure out what these other successful sellers are doing and how you can kind of emulate, take bits and pieces of what other people are doing and add it to your business, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, go check out Jeff's channel. He works hard on YouTube, and he puts out a lot of good content. Go check out his live streams. He's constantly interviewing a lot of interesting YouTubers that are also resellers as well. And thanks, Jeff, for tuning in, hanging out with me and everyone else for the last this last hour. And we're gonna have to do it again. Maybe we'll do it on your channel. Maybe we'll make this a constant thing. Maybe we'll get together like once a month and talk about just eBay in general and try to get to as many. We didn't have a lot of questions this time, but that's okay. Maybe time, if you guys are watching this after the fact, leave your questions down below. On the way out, hit that like button, and Jeff said, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Of course, hit that notification bell, because as many of you guys know, I like to do these videos sort of last minute on a whim. Let me just say to each and every one of you guys, look, I'm here to be 100% honest with you guys. I'm not here to blow smoke. Jeff doesn't blow smoke. I've watched many of his live streams. He's very to the point. I mean, he has no problem telling me, hey, dude, you spend too much time dealing with this negative feedback. So it's about honesty. And sometimes we need to deal with straight talk and being 100% honest, not only with ourselves, but with each other. And I appreciate that, Jeff. I appreciate that. It's certainly food for thought, good lessons to be learned from a lot of this stuff that we talk about. And I'm definitely looking forward to doing this again. But you know what? All these things we talk about, just another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great weekend. And I will talk to you guys and you, Jeff, very soon. Take care,
All right, guys.
everyone.
Bye, guys. You guys have a great weekend.